met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
lucky to play with my mind. I'm lost in a bottle. Lord, I can't stop feeling sorry for myself. I'm drowning on sorrow. Girl, want you and nobody else. I keep on looking every day and every night, but I just don't know where that baby of mine. Well, I just don't know. Have mercy, brother.
With more than 1,000 palm trees and Caribbean color scheme, the facility projects a South Beach flavor that distinguishes Homestead-Miami from other major racetracks in America. It took a while longer to get the right combination for the racing surface. In its first iteration, the track had 4 separate low-banked corners, reminiscent of a mini Indianapolis. That configuration failed to promote good racing and ultimately also provided for bad crash angles. Widening the aprons failed to correct either of these problems. A major reconfiguration of the track in the summer of 1997 brought a more conventional layout, sweeping 180-degree corners at either end of the oval. Close but no cigar. Most of the recent work on the track, during which the track assumed variable banking up to 20 degrees in the corners, flattening to 3 degrees on the straightaways, has seemed to have done the trick. Everyone agrees, Homestead-Miami, the beauty is now more than skin deep. Tonight, it's the Lonestar Racing Cup Series. It's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'm Steve Singer, joined in the broadcast booth with Zach Millett tonight for the Florida Keys 125 Lonestar Racing Cup Series. 125 laps of action here tonight. Temperatures, weather conditions here at Homestead, actually relatively cool considering where we're at. 78 degrees, 55% humidity. Track temp being in the afternoon. It's actually kind of cool considering that we are down in South Beach. It's 115 degrees. But that still will play into the handling characteristics with these drivers here tonight. Typically, this would be a night race. We typically see that the case, but sun shining down here on the racing surface, it's going to change things for these drivers. It's going to force the guys to take care of their equipment, take care of the tires throughout the course of the night. Practice underway here at the Speedway. Less than 2 minutes remain. Stephen Light, top of the board. Drew Blaze just barely behind him in the second spot there, about 100th of a second off. PJ Cox in P3. So, Zach, I know you got a couple of laps in here tonight as far as just practice was concerned. I mean, what's the key to this place? Is there really one?
Man, I don't know. With these cars, they just snap loose out of nowhere. I mean, whether you're the first lap on a stint or 10, 20 laps into a stint, it's hard to find that razor's edge balance to where you can be fast but not, be too fast and spin out.
It's like infielders. Be quick but don't hurry.
Yeah, unless we're going to, grab some food on the infield, then we're going
it's
way too fast.
Different kind of infield. We're talking about baseball, but either way, I know when you first get out there, you're like, wow, this thing's awfully tight. And then within a lap or two, all of a sudden, the back end kicked out and you were around. So I guess the key here is that unpredictability is what we're talking about.
Yeah, these things, especially in traffic too. I mean, I was just going by myself and it was hard enough. So with these guys, with a car around within inches, it's going to be tough.
We got Terry Crouch in the stream chat already. Terry, of course, running tonight. He says, tried a few practice laps, 100% chance of me killing somebody, so I parked it for the night. So he's not even going to race tonight. That's a tough break. Terry's actually having a decent season, coming back, turning some laps here on the oval. It's a shame to see him not run tonight's race. Come on, Terry.
Like
still time. There's still time.
Do it. Peer pressure.
Ultimately, I think peer pressure is the main reason that he joined this league as it was. We were running some road course stuff with Terry. And he said, come on here and run this oval stuff with these LSR guys. You'll be all right. And he has been. He's had some good runs, but I don't know, maybe he's scared.
Say he has a win already too, doesn't he?
I think he might. I'll have to go back and look, but we do this 5 nights a week, Zach. I can't recall anymore who's won what. I really need to start taking notes, but forget the
not
notes.
Even sure what day it is.
What's that?
I'm not even sure what day it is anymore,
Yeah,
Steve.
I'm lost too. But Drew Blaze on the racetrack here, had his qualifying lap. 5 minutes, 2 laps. Lock it in here. Set the field for tonight's race.
Looking forward to seeing what these guys turn for laps without draft. All I could get down to was, I think it was a 33.12, but it was pretty scary.
Drew shifting into the corner. I don't know if that was just to save the car, but nonetheless, let's take a look once again here at practice. Stephen Light, 33.11 was his best. Drew Blaze was 8/1000ths of a second shy. We'll stick with Drew here, see what he can lock down for the qualifying attempt. Again, taking a look at the points as we are starting to work our way through the season. Drew Blaze is on top of the board at 392 points. The real deal, Corey Deal, second in that standings, 389. So tight battle for the top 2 spots. Then PJ Cox, 370. Still within striking distance, Jason Blaney and Chris Goins. Drew Blaze finishes up his lap time, 33.23. Stephen Light runs a 33.45. 33.13 puts Light on the provisional pole, knocks Blaze off the top spot. Chris Klein on the track, about to finish up his second lap. Chris coming over from NTG. Fourth quick, 33.55. Chris Goins with another new paint scheme, still Eric Dotson agency on the panels of that next-gen Camaro.
Don't worry, Chris. I'm not picking you tonight. I'm doing that for you, buddy.
Oh, that's right. We got to make our picks. Will Hewitt in the session. He runs P3. Haven't seen Will for a little bit. Good to have Will back. Will comes to us from the Superior Class Auto Racing, No Bull Racing Series. He's kind of all over the place, a New Yorker for that matter, and good to have him back here turning some laps as he does drop to the 4th position. Blaney takes the 3rd spot.
Yeah, he's always fast. Will's always fast, no matter where he's running.
Chris Goins, originally out of Charlotte, North Carolina. The stripe, Chris Goins lands. Where does he land? Lap 1, 33.64. Top 10 for his first lap. Not too shabby. Go over to PJ Cox here. His first lap of 33.67, 11th fast. Again, PJ, I think, running 3rd in the point standings as we get to this race tonight. 8 races down. Second lap at 33.5 puts PJ in the top 5 for qualifying. Nicely done. Jarrett Woodard takes the green flag on his first lap. 79. Out of Canada, our neighbors to the north. Gones locks in P6 on his second lap at 33.54. So, Zach, I know it was minimal practice leading into tonight as far as you were concerned, but, I mean, did you get a feel for, is it a matter of trying to save tires tonight? I know we're in the daytime hours. Sun beating down on the racetrack. Track temperature is likely to be up. Tire wear to be at a maximum, but we have seen with these Cup cars, at least the next-gen Cup cars, that, ooh, a little too much power for Woodard. He comes around. Session comes to an end, but, yeah, that's going to be the question, Zach. I mean, tire strategy, is that going to come into play tonight?
Gonna say he pretty much just answered the question right there. It's a lot worse when you're fresh on tires. I don't know what it's like when you get into a run if the tires kind of equal out and it's a little more predictable. But man, those opening laps, Steve, I'm telling you, it's the razor's edge of disaster every second.
Going to have to keep a close eye on it as the race progresses, but let's go down trackside here and get a look at our starting grid for tonight's Florida Keys 125 on the pole position with a lap time of 33.136 seconds. It's the 099 of Stephen Light. Outside front row, 89 hundredths of a second shy. It's Drew Blaze in the number 1 with Lonestar Racing. Row number 2, Jason Blaney, the number 24 with Fueled Up Motorsports. With the 33 of Outcast Racing, it's Will Hewitt starting 4th. PJ Cox in the 5th position. Chris Gones credited with P6. Chris Klein, the number 51 with NTRL. He'll start in the 7th position. Nick Kolakowski, the number 22. Team Tracks starts 8th. Dave Coburn, another fellow New Yorker, starts in the 9th spot. Ken Couch out of the state of Texas, the 08, will roll out from the 10th starting position. Starting 11th, Jonathan Byram, the 054 out of the Carolinas. Mark Collins, another NTR entry. The number 45, he'll roll from the 12th spot. Sean Roberts, the Shenandoah Shine Machine. Man, I could go for some of that right about now. The 66 starts in the 13th spot. Tommy Kohick in the he'll start 14th. Dane Lloyd, the 09, rolls from the 15th spot. Jarrett Woodard, we saw him in qualifying just a moment ago, losing it out of turn 2 as the session expired. He starts 16th. Chris Muth Jr., I think that's another NTR driver. He'll start 17th. Jonathan Arnn, the 43, 18th. And Terry Crouch is getting credit for 19th. I think there's still time, Terry. You can jump in the session. We'll see. Shotgun on the field if he does roll as the pace car leaves. Right now, he might have to start from the pit lane if he doesn't, but there's one last opportunity, Terry. Let's do it.
It's the safest place to start from, Terry.
It really is. You can't take out anybody if you're in the back. I mean, last.
In the stream chat there, Neil Quick. Yeah, we found him, Neil. He's been over here. Talking about Will Hewitt.
It's a good thing. Fuel run here is a rough about estimate. 42 to 45 laps on a full load. They do have a 70% maximum fuel capacity as far as the tank is concerned. So a little bit shorter. Of course, we run shorter race distances here. It's not a full-length Cup race. It's more akin to almost a short truck race. 3 sets of tires over the wall. 2 green-white checkered attempts if necessary, and 1 fast repair if you so choose.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. Stephen Light on the gas. We're underway from Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Out before it's too late, Steve. Picking that 1 car tonight.
I'm going the 099.
Decent.
I know, I'm going out on a limb, but
You're only 9 for 9 or whatever it is at this point.
anything can happen. But Stephen Light's been pretty lights out since he got here. Into turns 3 and 4 from the pole position. Continues to lead over Drew Blaze. Will Hewitt already up into the third spot, now challenging for the second spot outside Drew Blaze into turns 3 and 4. Running that Snyder's number 33, still oh so familiar from the Superior Class Auto Racing days. Still side by side with Drew Blaze down the front stretch here. 3 laps in, plenty of racing to go. Not expecting to see a whole lot of aggression out of these guys early on. Again, we talked about it, Zach. Tire strategy, tire savings, again with the sun beating down on the racetrack. You don't want to abuse these things too much here in the first 10 laps. It's going to kind of dictate how they behave the rest of the run.
Yeah, I always like watching these races, like the first 10 laps, to see who's kind of laying back, because it makes you think, what do they know about the long run of this car?
Top 5, Stephen Light, Will Hewitt, Drew Blaze, PJ Cox, Chris Cones. 6th place, Chris Klein, then Nick Kolakowski, Jason Blaney, Ken Couch. Then Sean Roberts just takes the 10th spot. Noticing Corey Deal didn't make the race tonight. Tough break for Corey as he does run second in the point standings. Right on board with Will Hewitt.
I get a heck of a run off that top side, Steve.
It's the long way around, but you have to lift the least amount. You got to hear Will there. He is definitely grabbing a gear on corner entry, going from 5th to 4th. Neil Quick in the stream chat says, good luck, guys. Hickory, IROC, time to go. Admin going to be up late tonight. That's going to be a rough one.
Boy, yeah, have fun with that, man.
Hickory's such a great racetrack. I do remember, though, back in the day, it was last season, Superior Class Auto Racing now has become into the Noble Racing Series, but they ran all kinds of series. They ran Cup, they ran trucks, they ran ARCA, they ran street stocks. I mean, it was every night of the week. There was something going on, and they were all broadcasted. It was a blast. But they ran the short tracks on some of these series, and it was really fun, especially on places like Hickory, or even last night, like we ran Black Horizon at IRP. A lot of these tracks were fun. There wasn't a huge field. It was probably, 15, 16 cars, but on the smaller tracks, it worked. It was just kind of a good sweet spot as far as numbers were concerned on the short tracks.
Yeah, it was the ongoing joke last night in the Black Horizon race that the longer we go, the cleaner the race is going to get, because it seemed like every time, there was a wreck, it was a pretty big wreck, and it usually took out at least 3-4 cars every time.
Well, I mean, there's certainly some truth to that across the board, whether it's, okay, you've got guys that are being eliminated. In Black Horizon's case, they don't run the fast repair. So when the guys are out, the guys are out. But also, the cream rises to the top. I mean, the guys that are good, that are really good, they're typically, and not always, they're typically going to be out of those situations. They're not going to get involved in those problems. We've got a battle for the lead here, though. Never mind that. Let's talk about it. Stephen Light under attack from Will Hewitt. Look out the back window from Stephen Light. Will goes top side again, trying to build the run. I guess that's going to be the question, though. Is that top lane going to be the place to be? Or is that where you're going to wear that right front tire?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, you almost think running the bottom would put more pressure on that right front, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Two car lengths between Light and Hewitt, if that. Again, Hewitt going top side. Light goes to not quite the bottom. Again, progressive banking here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, so that changes depending on where you are in the corner as well. Man, look at the run that Will gets down the backstretch, though. Closes right in.
It is huge.
Bunch of Lone Star Racing regulars that were missing tonight. Justin Johnson being one, Keaton Burnett. No Kevin Blue tonight either. No Mike Fahey. Certainly missing those guys. They're characters at the very minimum, but good to have them out here on the track as it is.
Must be an LSR party here somewhere.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Fahey is switched to nights. Justin Johnson's got family obligations with the kids. Can't fault him for that in the least. Keaton Burnett might just be partying. I don't know. Kevin Blue has been strapped with work obligations lately as well, and I've talked to him pretty recently about that. Even Monday night, he was worried he wasn't going to make it in for his own league that he runs. Again, the LSR GT3 series that runs on Monday nights, and luckily he was able to get out for it, but it's been tough for him as of late. Will Hewitt able to keep pace with Stephen Light, but unable to really gain too much ground and put the attack to Stephen Light. Man, he is running that Larson line. He is just inches off the wall there, and just the exit of turn 4. Neil Quick says, looking for Keaton, you better check police scanners. If Keaton were here, he'd say, yeah, you're not lying.
Yeah, you would too.
Definitely one of the more entertaining drivers here in the Lone Star Racing Cup Series. Come back soon, honey. We miss you.
Amen to that.
Trying to follow up some other battles here on the racetrack. Chris Goins and Jason Blaney. Goins on the bottom, number 28. Blaney up top, the 24. Chevy versus Ford. Blaney had a run, but Goins went topside to block that run, kind of closed the door. Not an aggressive block, just a, yeah, I'm going to take this lane away, but Blaney goes to the bottom, gets alongside. He's not going to have the momentum out of the corner. That's going to go to Chris Goins. Chris Goins has managed to defend that position quite well. In fact, starting to pull away from Blaney. Maintains the 5th spot, starts to close in on Drew Blaze. Only 3-4 tenths between himself and that number 1 machine. And Blaze started up towards the front, has slipped back to the 4th spot. Just scrapes the outside wall off of turn 2.
Really getting all you can get.
It's the thing about Homestead-Miami Speedway. So many different options as far as lane choice, but Blaney here struggling a bit in the early going. Ken Couch to his inside for a moment through turns 3 and 4. Blaney battles back with the momentum out of turn 4, down into turns 1 and 2. Couch right there to the back bumper. Stephen Light still with the race lead, half-second advantage over Will Hewitt. Couch looking to the bottom once again, making an effort here for the 6th position. Couch the 08, that white machine on the bottom. It's a St. Louis Cardinals scheme, if I'm not mistaken.
Crossover action
contact!
here. Oh no!
Turns down, but Blaney was there. Blaney go up the racetrack and catch the wall? Does both these drivers save these cars? That was incredible. Wow. Now, I will say this, Blaney's probably not very happy about that one.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. He's probably not going to give him as much room for a pass here.
He wasn't giving him a ton of room there. Oh, he's got the run, too. Looking to the inside. I think Couch might have just checked up here. Says, all right. Oh, no, he's going to do it again.
Oh, it's not over.
Oh, these two side by side for position. Oh, I thought they were going to go around for sure that time. Harley in the stream chat. No Millet, no Crouch. Who do I cheer for? I don't know. AgentDotson.com is kind of a friendly sponsor here with HBR TV. I'd say let's go with Chris Gones. We're still going to go back to this battle with Blaney and Couch, though, because I just have a feeling that it is not over.
Yeah, I don't think Blaney got into the wall there that first time. I think he stayed clean. All you can see is he's loose now.
Certainly impressive save out of both drivers. That was a tough one. It's kind of the way these cars go, though. I mean, you have an opportunity when they get kind of crossed up. It's strange. The handling on them is just so foreign compared to previous iterations of the Cup car. You used to be able to lean on that tire. It could get sideways. You could put the car in yaw. You really can't do that with this next-gen car. Ken Couch has started to stretch it out over Jason Blaney, which is somewhat surprising, I gotta be honest, because Blaney's usually really quick in places like this. Well, Drew Blaze up in the third position. Nobody in front of or behind, really, to speak of. Drew Blaze is in the second spot. I'm sorry, Will Hewitt's in the second spot, 2.5 seconds ahead of Drew Blaze, and 1.4 behind race leader Stephen Light. Early on here, we've got a couple of drivers out of the running. Jarrett Woodard and Dane Lloyd both. Lloyd still in the pits. Jarrett Woodard still on track running, but 2 laps down to this point. Chris Muth and Mark Collins, a couple of NTR drivers battling for the 11th position. Chris Muth in the yellow number 8, Mark Collins on the bottom of the 45. Oh man, Muth way up the racetrack. Talk about Larson line again. Taking some seafoam green and putting it on that neon yellow.
Ooh, big time loose there.
Muth dropped down the racetrack after saving the car. Keeps it out of the fence. Tommy Kohick runs in the 12th spot. Now just ahead of Chris Muth Jr. He's in behind Jarrett Woodard there, but that's not for position. Woodard running in the 17th spot, Kohick 12th. 22 and Nick Kolakowski running in the 9th spot. Dan Storm asking, is 22 saving tires? First and foremost, Dan, I gotta ask, where are you? Aren't you a driver in this league? What are you doing? Saving electricity? But yes, Nick Kolakowski running 9th. He's only down 1 spot, so it is still relatively early on here in the race. First round of pit stops coming, I would say, in the next 10 to 15 laps. I don't know. I think it's awfully early to be saving tires. I think this first run, and Zach, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, you kind of want to go as hard as you can. See what the car is going to give you, kind of see what you've got versus everybody else, and then kind of make your adjustments, save some tires maybe in the mid-section of the race, and go from there.
Yeah, it's kind of your best opportunity to get your track position, you know, as everybody's getting used to the car, used to the track, and used to how it feels. You know, if you have enough practice and know how it is, you can kind of get out there, make up some spots, and then just ride, and like you said, maybe save a set of tires in the middle.
Wow, Kolakowski, he's running way up top too. We got Corey D in the stream chat. Had to miss tonight due to unforeseen circumstance. Father-in-law was in a car wreck yesterday. Oh, didn't make it. Corey, man, I'm really sorry to hear that. Thoughts and prayers certainly going out to you guys and your family. What are you doing here watching this race, man? I know sometimes you need a distraction, but damn, that's it's never fun, man. Certainly heart goes out to you guys. Dan Storm is on a plane somewhere between Denver and New York. Well, that's kind of cool. I guess HBR TV is also mile high, so that's a plus. Well, 32 laps in here. We're going to go HBR TV side by side. Hopefully get this completed before we get to our first round of green flag stops. Stay with us, folks. You won't miss a minute. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway for the Florida Keys 125. Stephen Light continues the lead from the pole position. Drew Blaze has fought his way back up into the second spot. Very, very common situation. We see this with the one quite a bit. He'll drop back early on in the run, take care of his stuff, and then slowly but surely work his way back either to where he started, if not better. Blaze running in that P2 position, 3 seconds back from Stephen Light. Already starting to see some pit stops underway. PJ Cox, Sean Roberts, Jonathan Byram all down pit lane. PJ Cox, a fresh new Lonestar Racing team driver.
Definitely one of the best looking cars out there. Love that paint scheme.
I don't know. I like it too. It's just, I went to a concert over the summer, and it was put on by, I'll say, a Western New York dealer group that is very big in the area. I'll leave it at that. They put it on for their employees and some of their distributors. And we went there, and it was an alcohol-free event, which, again, as a business putting on a major event for all of your employees, I kind of understand that. But we get there, and we walk in, and I didn't know what Liquid Death was, but I saw Liquid Death in these cans, and I'm like, maybe they're serving alcohol. So I got one. And it's water. It's literal water.
It's so ironic.
But either way, still a cool paint scheme. PJ Cox certainly does it proud. Stephen Light, Chris Goins down pit lane. Right side's already changed on the number 99 Wounded Warrior Project machine. He's down and away. Good stop. 15.30. Still waiting for iRacing to update the pit speed for these next-gen Cup cars. Their single lug pit stops should be like 11, 12 seconds. Will Hewitt, Mark Collins, Tommy Kohick all down the pit lane. Well, just chumming to a stop here. Good pit stall for Will Hewitt. Burns the fast repair already. Had only a tiny bit of damage on that number 33. I think that might have been a mistake. These cars can actually handle quite a bit of damage before they really fall off on pace.
And you only get the one, right?
You only get the one here. And again, I know it's been a clean series, a clean race thus far, but man, if you get bottlenecked up into an incident and then you really need it just to get back on the track and you don't have it because you wanted to fix a dent, that's tough, man. Hope that's not the case.
He was running fourth too, I think, when he came in too, so man, that is tough.
Will Hewitt definitely having a good run tonight. Nick Kolakowski down and away. Jason Blaney also in the pits. 4 tires and Sunoco Racing fuel. He's down and away. 14.68 for Blaney. Quick stop. Chris Klein and Chris Muth Jr., a couple NTG NTR drivers in the pits. I gotta notice though, these guys coming into pit lane, they're locking up the fronts and then lifting off the brake and then locking them up again. I mean, what's the story with this next-gen Cup car? Zach, I know you're not a super huge fan of them, and me personally, I found that the brakes are really weird on these cars, not just road courses, but even especially getting into pit lane. You feel like you got to put a ton of brakes on that brake pedal to get them to stop. You know, what's your take on that?
Man, it is weird too, especially when you're coming to an actual stop. It just seems like you can't get enough brake pedal, especially coming into your pit box. I've noticed the same thing. I can just stomp on the brakes and the thing just won't react. It just wants to keep going.
Stephen Light cycles back to the top spot. Drew Blaze cycles back to P2. Chris Goins had a good in and out. Chris Goins in the 3rd position. Goins 5.2 seconds back from race leader Stephen Light. Drew Blaze, though, only a few car lengths off the back of the 99 and closes down pretty considerably there. A couple car lengths now This is out of turn number 2.
Yeah, I think Drew got in and out of pit road a little quicker than Light did.
Someone's been watching some Zach Millet video.
Boy, I hope they weren't watching the video where I was trying to do that in this car.
Don't shadowbox. It's not a good thing.
No, we've learned. We learned Tuesday. No more of that. We made things way harder than it needed to be that night.
Those of you wondering what we mean by that is shadowboxing is in NASCAR, there's real rules. You can only drive through so many pit boxes before you get a penalty, in and out. And Millet got popped by the pit police the other night in the Numb Thumbs Racing League, driving through too many stalls on exit, and it cost him. It cost him big. He still had a solid finish, but there could have been a chance at a win there. So tough break, lesson learned, and we move on from it.
It's one of those things, Steve. You know, it's like what we said in the beginning of the broadcast. We do so many leagues that it's hard to remember the specific rules on each. So, yeah, we just got to get a bigger, drier race board for these rules, you know, that's all.
Well, forget about the rules. Stephen Light's got company here. Drew Blaze closing in considerably here. Car length off the back bumper. So you go down the back straightaway into turn number 3.
Same exact lap time that last time around for these two.
They brought Stephen Light in here relatively recently. I think this might be his 3rd race of the season. So not really in the championship hunt, but man, has he been on the charge here in contention for race wins. He's got at least 1 win already. He's got the pole position here tonight, obviously leading right now. Drew Blaze trying to track him down and see what he can do with the 099. Stephen Light actually has some legitimate NASCAR experience, so that certainly plays into his favor. I know the sim it's not the real thing. It's close. There's some advantages to it, and obviously Stephen has some ability behind the wheel. Drew trying to track him down. He's staying close with him.
Now here's a question, Steve. Is LSR still doing the EOL penalty for winners?
I would have to go back and double check, but I believe that is the case, and I think the EOL is actually slightly different. I think it's been modified to a pass-through at some point after halfway. So it's a pretty significant penalty.
I was wondering, because if it was the EOL at the start, I mean, I don't know who won last week, but if Drew, he's kind of in a perfect spot here, you know, just ride behind Steve, stay in the draft, conserve his tires. You know, I know he just wants to get up there, lead a lap, at least get those bonus points for his championship, but I mean, racing somebody like you said, he's not in the championship hunt, but you know, when you're riding behind somebody like this, it's a lot easier just to ride in his tracks and conserve.
Yeah, last week we were off. 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty sure it was actually the 099 of Stephen Light that took the race win. And we're only 53 laps in here of 125, so not quite at the halfway point. Trying to go through the LSR Cup side Discord right now to see what the penalty scorings will be.
Well, that's even better for Drew, you know, if Steve's going to get the penalty for that anyway. I mean, it's just a waiting game. He's going to take over this lead.
Well, looking at the details here, Lonestar Racing Cup Series Discord, it says after the first win, the driver with 1 win will receive an EOL before the start of the next race. After 2 wins, the driver receives an EOL before the start of the next race. 3rd win, driver will start from the pits for the next race. 4th win, driver must start from the pits every race for the balance of the season. Now, I do think that there was some amendments made to that. Again, not 100% sure. We try to cover a lot of leagues here in HBR TV. I thought there were some changes made to that. I just can't put my left mouse button on it at this point. Anybody in the stream chat that might be familiar with Lonestar Racing? Were any of those win penalties changed as of late? Because I don't think Stephen Light took an EOL here at the start. He was out in front from the drop. Gonna have to do some research here in the interim. So last week it was Jason Blaney with the race win. So that would make sense. Blaney running in the 11th spot. He started officially 19th. So yes, Blaney did receive an EOL or maybe opted not to qualify. Blaney typically a bit quicker than that.
That clears it up a little bit then, definitely.
It was Stephen Light that won 3 weeks ago. That was at Nashville. So Light received his EOL at Daytona. Not really a penalty, so to speak, but that's just the way that it falls sometimes.
Yeah, more of a gift, really, in that aspect.
It truly is, but again, it's the game you got to play. You know what the penalty system is. You know that if you win the race prior to a super speedway where you might want to be at the back anyway, fine, go ahead and go for a win. Get those points when you can. Worry about the penalties after the fact. It's just the same situation where if you excel on road courses, maybe you don't want to win the race right before. Drew Blaze still hanging tough there in that second position. Just a car length off the back bumper of Stephen Light. Running into some lap traffic now. It's the 8. Chris Muth Jr. and then the 20 as well. That's Dave Coburn. 60 laps in of 125. We've been under the green flag since the very beginning of this race. No cautions to speak of as of yet. We'll knock on some wood for that. Though my rig is aluminum, we're going to pretend. Lap traffic, though, helping Stephen Light here just a bit. Losing a 10th is Drew Blaze.
Oh, yeah, it's going to hurt Drew big time on exit there. Yeah, you can see Drew's probably not too happy about that.
Nope. If I'm Drew Blaze there, I'm going to give him a little bit of a bump in the middle of that corner to send him up the racetrack because he's already a lap down. He's not going to catch Stephen Light here. Drew Blaze is having a hard enough time catching Stephen Light. Chris Muth Jr., again, a lap down here in 13th is not... Oh, and he wiggles. He gets the left sides on the paint. That's going to slow Drew again. Drew Blaze was 0.2 of a second off the back bumper of Stephen Light. He has slipped to 1.2, just trying to get around the 8 of Chris Muth Jr., who was a lap down. Again, Drew is running in P2. Muth has already lost the lap.
And you know Drew's hot about it because this was the closest that he's been to that 099 car all night long. I mean, he must have felt like that was the best chance, staying right on his bumper.
100%. Haley in the stream chat. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all having a nice night. A nice race night. I thought she's going to good night. I'm losing it. Haley, thanks for joining us. We do appreciate it. I hope you're still with us and not going to bed. I don't know if you guys get Good Friday off in Sweden for the Easter holiday. I don't know how it works, but if you do, happy Thursday. So field is pretty well spread out. Chris Muth again running in the 13th spot, having a decent day, honestly. He's up 4 positions. Now we got Nick Kolakowski within the top 10 in P9. Goes by Mark Collins for that position. Haley's off an entire week. I'm moving to Sweden.
Yeah, me too.
Are you off the entire week just because or because of the holiday? Because if it's because of the holiday, I need to rethink my plans here.
Yeah, I'd like to know where I could mail my complaint letter to New York.
Yeah, no kidding. Jason Blaney in the 10th spot, just ahead there of Mark Collins. Collins is sliding back a bit. Lost a couple of spots here in the last handful of laps. Again, Jason Blaney had to take the EOL for his win penalty. Started last today. He's up into the 10th spot. Just under half race distance to go. 6 laps in here. We're going to take another HBR TV side-by-side break. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, 74 laps in of 125. Stephen Light continues to lead here. Drew Blaze runs second. Chris Goins now up into P3. Haley says she likes the commercial music. I don't even recall what music it was at this point. I know we had the break music, which I kind of like, but speaking of Haley, you've got a stream channel as well. I don't know if it's YouTube, Facebook, both. If you want to drop your information here in the stream chat, feel free to do it. This way everybody that's in here can follow you as well. You're a very loyal HBR TV watcher here. We certainly do appreciate that. We kind of want to pay it forward a bit if we can. Jason Blaney up into the 9th spot. Trying to work his way forward. I mean, it's tough here at Homestead. I mean, Zach, does the draft really come into play? Are you not really sure? I mean, do you need help to get your way to the front? I know Blaney is typically one of the faster guys in this league. He seems to be kind of mired back there at the backside of the top 10. I know he started at the back with that EOL.
Man, it's tough to say, because I don't know how far away too far away is, for that draft. I know Drew Blaze was keeping up with Light a lot easier when he was right there, just a car length off his bumper. But when he was about a second back after the situation with the lap car, he really just couldn't keep up. He's dropping a little bit by little bit every lap. So, yeah, maybe that draft is a big part of this.
Now, the thing with this next-gen Cup car is a lot of the aerodynamic draft, or say downforce, I guess you could say, that this car produces. It comes from the floor of the car. It's not really the body itself that produces all of that downforce. That's how the old car was. So with that, it increases the amount of downforce, but reduces the drag. It also punches a smaller hole in the air as to not create a whole lot of, quote, dirty air. Now, we've heard a lot of guys talk about that in the actual Cup Series is, well, I got into dirty air and I couldn't make the pass. I kept losing the nose. I was tight in traffic, this, that, or the other thing. Well, that really does seem to hold true even here in the sim. Haven't quite got it right. Not quite dialed in just yet, but give it time. I'm sure they'll get it figured out.
Yeah, all they have to do is do a truck race at Darlington, and they'll figure that one out real quick.
Oh, that's totally different. Trucks put a giant hole in the air, and you know that.
That is tough.
Haley's still waiting on that link here in our stream chat. Maybe I've got it set up so that you can't. I don't know. We'll figure it out. PJ Cox looks like he's pulling down pit lane here. His second stop of the day, lap 79 from the 7th position. PJ into the pit box, through around to the right side. Got to anticipate 4 tires and Sunoco race fuel for the Liquid Death 05 of PJ Cox. Quick stop, down and away. 14:53. Fastest stop of the day so far for all drivers. Liquid Death crew on point tonight. Drew Blaze also down pit lane.
Good job of Drew Blaze getting in that box. Those guys in the suits just having a conversation in the background.
Corporate entities. Drew Blaze, much better stop than last, 14:72. Stephen Light now down pit lane as well. He's into the pit box, that P1 position. Chris Goins is taking over the top spot. Last stop for Light was pretty quick. Let's see if we can back it up this time.
Smart move by Chris Goins, staying out there, getting that bonus point for leading the lap.
Points do make a difference. 14:92 for Stephen Light. Collins is going to beat him out. Collins, though, 1 lap down.
Ooh, scary moment there. Looked like the 45 got in the wall just a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like Light got a little loose there in the middle of the corner as well. It's cold tires on these next-gen Cup cars seem to be a bit of a handful for at least the first lap or two. Chris Goins down pit lane. The AgentDotson.com machine. .15.10 in the box for Chris Goins. Meanwhile, Drew Blaze has run the fastest lap of the race, a 33.24 out of the driver of the number 1 entry. Lonestar Racing. Ford Mustang GT.
Yeah, I think Drew wants to get right back on the bumper of Steve here as much as possible.
Jason Blaney and Coburn have hit the pit lane. Blaze listed in the 4th position here, but still behind Stephen Light. 0.6 of a second off his back bumper. Chris Klein and Nick Kulikowski, the top 2, still needing to make a pit stop here. Their stops were 45 and 44 respectively. Again, they can go as long as 45 laps, I believe, so they could push it another 3 or 4 laps here before making that pit stop. A little bit over a full second of tire fall off as far as lap times are concerned, though. So the longer they wait, the more it's going to hurt them. Think about it, though. They wait 4 or 5 laps. They're going to lose 4 or 5 seconds at minimum to those on fresh tires. Meanwhile, Stephen Light, new fast lap, 33.09. Chris Klein in the pits. Stephen Light's going to inherit the top spot here in just a moment. Turn 4 down the front stretch, back to the point, the 0.99 of Light. Nick Kulikowski still in P3, but again, we talked about the differential between the old tires versus new. Nick has not hit pit lane for his scheduled stop. He is still on the racetrack versus the top 2 drivers. They have completed their pit stop. Nick's going to lose a ton of track position here as he comes down pit lane for his scheduled stop. Caution would have made a big difference for him, but unfortunately for the 22, he's not going to get it.
Yeah, he might be close to losing a lap here, don't you think?
100%. I mean, they're running lap times here in 33 seconds. 43 seconds is the average pit lane time, including the stop. So without a doubt, he's going to lose a lap here. There's the leader, Stephen Light, out of turn 4. Kulikowski just pulling out of his pit box, so definitely going from P3 to 1 lap down in 11th. If not worse, depending on where Tommy Kohick blends back in. Top 7 drivers on the lead lap, and that's about it.
Ooh, 3-wide battle there.
And who was that between?
I think it was Sean Roberts, maybe? These guys actually pretty close to going a lap down.
And Sean Roberts, the last car on the lead lap. Stephen Light just to the back bumper. Roberts pit at lap 82, so a lap newer tires than the race leader, but just cannot match the pace. Stephen Light goes on by Sean Roberts, puts him a lap down. Chris Klein, the next on the list, he's a lap down. So now it's the top 6 drivers. Jason Blaney, if you believe that, the last car on the lead lap, in danger of losing that lap here in just a moment. We've been, again, as we said, under the green flag since the beginning of this race. 92 laps in of 125. We're going to take our final HBR TV side-by-side break. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, lap 100 on the board, 26 to go. Stephen Light continues to lead over Drew Blaze. The deficit to the one is 2.7 seconds. Stephen Light checking out here at Homestead. About 10 laps he goes. Jonathan Arnn had an issue on track. Let's see if we can get a look at it. Sometimes they're just fluke incidents.
Oh, man. Good job keeping that out of traffic.
Just barely brushes the wall. Certainly drivable. He's going to continue on. About 25 laps to go. Chris Muth also having an issue. Let's take a look at the 8. Very similar issue out of turn number 2.
Same spot.
Yep, same exact spot, and I think he just called it a night.
Well, that's what we were talking about, Steve. You know, that snap loose, it just comes out of nowhere.
Chris Klein running in the 7th spot, right where he started. Doing a good job maintaining. Sean Roberts to his back bumper. Again, these drivers not on the lead lap, but these positions still contested for.
Ooh, same spot, Steve. Look at that. Oh, into the wall.
Chris Klein into the fence off turn number 2. Still no caution as he's not in traffic.
Well, it wouldn't be a full, proper broadcast without a proper jinx, right?
Well, I'm going to back it up here because it doesn't even show that he crashed, but I want to watch this because there was certainly some contact between himself and the 66. Again, this was just a moment ago. Chris. Oh, he was starting to lose it on his own, though.
Boy, that was a good job of Sean Roberts to get on the brakes and not upset the car. He kept that going straight.
Still made contact with the 51, but that is not the reason for the incident. Klein was just getting loose out of the corner anyway. Roberts just finished him off. Really nowhere for the 66 to go at that point. Things going from bad to worse for Chris Klein, having trouble getting into the pit box. 22 laps to go here from Homestead.
I hope he had that fast repair still. Looks like he did. Good thing.
Stephen Light enjoying a nice Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening drive. Won the pole position here tonight. He's led most of the laps thus far. Only through pit cycles has he not led them all. Top 5 cars, the only ones on a lead lap. That's Stephen Light, Drew Blaze, Chris Goins, Will Hewitt, PJ Cox. Sun getting a little bit low here on the horizon. 20 laps to go here from South Beach. So I'm curious, though, if you look at the last pit stops, they've been averaging about every 40 laps. I know 45 is about the max. Stephen Light pit lap 81. So even if we went 45, he might be fine to the finish. Drew Blaze pit lap 80. Could be close for him. Chris Goins, 83. He should be good. Will Hewitt, 82, running 4th. He should be good. PJ Cox, lap 78. He might be in trouble. 18 laps to go. Fuel's going to be tight. Certainly if we get a green-white checkered type situation, everybody's going to need to pit. The good thing is that everyone has a set of tires still sitting over the wall if necessary. So we'd have a shootout to the finish with fresh tires for all.
Yeah, that would definitely raise the excitement on that, that's for sure.
17 to go, though. Stephen Light, dominating performance so far. Best lap of the day, 33.09. Of course, won the pole position. led the most laps so far tonight, currently leading the latter stages of tonight's race, the Florida Keys 125. So Stephen Light enjoying a 3.5 second lead for Drew Blaze.
Boy, and then it's 16 seconds, or just about all the way back to third.
Still a strong run for the 28 of Chris Goins. Will Hewitt again hanging tough there in the 4th spot. In position for a solid finish.
Ooh, I think he's in the wall there.
Scrapes the wall just a touch on corner entry. Trying to open that corner up the best that he can. Now PJ Cox goes a lap down, so now only the top 4 on the lead lap here with less than 14 laps remaining. Harley in the stream chat says, is Blaze going to catch him? 3.3 seconds, I don't know. I'm going to say probably not. Though the last lap, the top 3 all ran identical lap times, 34 flat for Light, Blaze, and Goins.
That's pretty incredible.
You never see that again.
No.
This time, though, Drew Blaze a tick faster than Light. 33.94 to Light's 34.02. Goins ran an identical 34 flat a second time, and now, nope, he didn't, a 33.95. So both second and third place drivers running faster than the race leader currently, but Light has a little bit of breathing room. 3.3 seconds back to Drew Blaze with less than 13 laps to go, 12 to be specific.
Interesting to see Drew Blaze move up to the top of the racetrack in 1 and 2 here. Just trying something different.
Trying something different, but is it too late? That's really the question here. I mean, should he have done that 8-9 laps ago? Oh, he's in the fence, though. Scrapes the right side. That's going to cost him big time.
I think it's just that time of the race where, you know, he thinks he's got to really do something, you know, because what he's doing isn't working. So, I mean, he's really got to open up the horizons with something.
Drew Blaze, a dirt racer by, I don't know, I guess you could say dirt racer by trade, so to speak, but he's used to changing up his lane, trying to switch things up, trying to find grip, trying to find some speed. That's nothing that's new to him. But man, going up to the high side here at Homestead, very quickly found the safer barrier. Ten laps to go. Stephen Light ran a 33.99 his last time around. Drew Blaze a 34.26 to a 34.21 to Goins.
See that one car kind of moving back and forth. He was really trying to put the power down the best he can.
Drew's trying to catch the race leader, Stephen Light, here. I don't know if he's just got enough time to do it. Chris Goins, though, in the 3rd spot. He's 11 seconds back from Drew Blaze. He's just got to run this out, stay ahead of Will Hewitt, get a solid top 3 out of the deal.
We've seen that from Chris Goins a lot this season. You know, when he doesn't get hit with that bad luck, and there's been enough of that for him, that's for sure. But he definitely has a strong car every time. He's a car that can win every week.
take what the car will give you is what I've seen out of Chris Goins more often than not. You know, he'll work his way through there. He started P6 today, and that's just an indication of what his 2 laps of qualifying were. But he's worked his way up into the 3rd place. May not have had the most pace this afternoon, but overall, he's been a bit faster, but he's been consistent. He's willing to take the 3rd place finish that he's getting out of the car at this point. And that's kind of why he's where he's at in the point standings, having a solid year so far. Maximize the day to the best of your ability.
It's just a matter of time. He'll get that win.
Now with coming to 6 laps to go, do we see a caution?
Oh, man. I mean, you know how I feel about this, Steve. I've been in this position more times than I can remember, and I would hate it. I would hate it if there was a caution, because it's a shame at this point. You know, these guys run this clean, this long. It'd be just a shame. It'd be awful.
Haley in the stream chat, Chris is my favorite racer. Then Jesse Redding chimes in and says, agreed, Goins for president.
Yep, mine too, I agree. He's got my vote. Softest lips in iRacing, for sure.
I'm not going to even expand on that statement. Nothing really to commentate on here at this point. Everybody is pretty well separated. Light, Blaze, Goins, and Hewitt really nowhere near each other here within the top 4.
I think Drew really pushed his car this stint to see if he could do something for Steve, but his car is really just stepping out on him every turn, it seems like.
Yeah, he's running about a 1/10 of a lap slower than race leader Stephen Light.
Chris Elliott with an excellent point in that stream chat. Just feed Chris Goins Oreos and he'll stay happy forever.
Aren't we all happy with Oreos?
I sure am.
Tan Storm says, broadcast just went PG-13 with that Goins soft lips comment.
Hey, under under 10 to go, everything's fair game.
It's only PG-13 if you know what he meant. And if it's PG-13 if you know what he meant, you're over the age of 13.
Yeah, good point.
So that's all right. The kids watching have no idea what he meant.
They just think it's Oreo related.
Yes. 2 laps to go. Stephen Light. PJ Cox on the pit lane here late. Out of fuel. Got to make that splash and go. Got to wonder if that's going to be the fate for the leaders here. Stephen Light. I don't know if he's been saving it all. Into turns 3 and 4. Going to look for the white flag the next time by. I can't imagine we'll see him down pit lane. Stays on the racetrack. White flag one more time around for the 099. Stephen Light.
He has certainly earned this one, Steve.
100%. Not surprising in the least. He's got a lot of pace. He's been hard to guard here as of late.
Fast, consistent, and smooth.
Stephen Light through turns 3 and 4 for the final time, looking for a checkered flag here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Stephen Light wins the Florida Keys 125. Drew Blaze finishes second, Chris Goins third, and Will Hewitt fourth. Jason Blaney will get credit for the 5th position.
See if he's got any gas for some donuts, Steve.
I think he saved enough, I'm going to guess. He's going to try. Is he running out?
Yeah, it might have been that close.
Maybe that's it.
That's Chris Goins. They're going to get a nice picture here at the start-finish line. Good race, fellas.
With that, we're going to jump out and get our final break out of the way. Hopefully have our top three in the broadcast booth after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, the Florida Keys 125, a dominating win by Stephen Light. See if we can pull Steve up in the broadcast booth and get a word with our race winner. Steve, it's Steve and Zach in the HBR TV booth. You got a good copy?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, my man. Pole position tonight, led the most laps, took the checkered flag, man. Walk us through your race. What's the key to this place, man? You were lights out fast.
Yeah, great win for Mecca Motorsports. Just this place is. It seems like the longer the runs go on, as you know, every time we lay 10, 15, 20 laps down, the track seems to get greasier and greasier. And early on there, I don't know who was in second, but they were really fast on the top. But you also burn more fuel up there. And tonight, you really had to try to stretch your fuel runs if you're going to do it on 2 stops. But I've always found that just being patient around the bottom of the track and making sure you can get solid runs off the corner, using up the least amount of track as possible, tends to be faster on the longer run for whatever reason. And good throttle control. But it was a really fun race. Everybody raced clean, and happy to bring home a win.
You hit the nail on the head with that. That was Will Hewitt in the 33 machine that was trying to make those moves by you there early on the high side. And, well, you're exactly right. He had to make 3 stops here tonight. Still finished P4, but unable to come up into the top 5 and challenge for that race win. Steve, congratulations again here tonight at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Next week we go into Michigan. That place tends to produce some pretty interesting and exciting racing. I know we went green to checker here tonight without a yellow flag. Do we expect that next week?
It's hard to say. I haven't run a ton of races there, but with the draft, you're probably going to see a lot closer racing. I don't think you'll see them quite as spread out as you did here. That track doesn't wear the tires out quite as bad as Homestead. Homestead's pretty rough on tires, especially longer runs. But Michigan should be a fun race. Like I said, I haven't raced there in a while. If I'm not mistaken, there pretty much are 2 grooves there, so you should see some good side-by-side racing. And I'm sure there'll be, depending on how many long green flag runs we get, it'll come down to some strategy, which always makes it fun. So we'll just have to see.
All right, Steve. Well, we certainly look forward to it, man. Again, congratulations on the win here tonight. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Thank Jonathan Byram for bringing me on, and thank you for the series for having me, and everybody that's racing out there. Didn't have a big crowd tonight, but it was a lot of fun, and appreciate the broadcasters and everything you guys do, and look forward to the next one.
Job well done. Good luck next week. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, guys.
Stephen Light, your race winner here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Next, we're going to go to Drew Blaze, the runner-up, driver of the #1 Lonestar racing machine. Drew, it's Steve and Zach in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Drew, congratulations on a P2 finish. Put it on the outside front row. Finished, essentially, on the outside front row. What did you have? Did you have anything for Stephen Light tonight? He was lights out fast, led the most laps, and I'm taking the checkered flag, but what was the options? Was there anything you could have had in the tank to go by Stephen Light here late in this race?
Not really. Once we got a caution, it's kind of hard when the guy has a strategy of waiting for me to pit and then he pits right after me. So what can I do with that? It's not much I can do.
You could run it out of fuel.
I could have.
We did see some pace out of you at the end of that first pit stop cycle. You definitely had a little bit in the tank there for Stephen Light. I think it would have been fun to see if we had a caution there late, you guys on equal footing, fresh tires, and a heads-up race to the finish. It didn't end up coming to that, unfortunately, but there's always next week, and that's Michigan Speedway. Obviously, a completely different animal. I just heard the draft is going to come into play out at Michigan. What are your thoughts at Michigan Speedway and your odds against Stephen Light?
I like our odds every week. Gonna try to save tires there and do our normal things. It's kind of get consistent finishes, try not to wreck, and I've almost wrecked a couple times here, so definitely need to clean that up a little bit. But other than that, just trying to stay patient and run my own race and just be there for the points at the end.
Well, we saw that a couple of times. You still managed to keep it out of the fence, so job well done as far as that is concerned, Drew. Certainly good luck next week at Michigan, but we're going to let you go, man, get to third place. Chris Goins, who do you want to thank before we shout out and get out of here?
Oh, yeah, got to thank Lonestar Racing, Garza Law Firm, Justin Johnson, Mike Fahey. It's all my guys that support me. Couldn't do it without any of them. And thank you for putting on the broadcast, as always. You're great. And, thanks for everybody that's watching out there, and all our guys around the league. It's been great.
Certainly. Thanks for the kind words there, Drew. And again, a job well done by all of your guys out here tonight. Green to checker without a single caution flag. Job well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's Drew Blaze, your second place finisher. And then we're going to go to Chris Goins, our third place finisher. We'll pull him up. Get a word with the driver of the agentdatsun.com, number 28 Chevy Camaro. Chris Goins, it's Steve and Zach. You got us?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Steve?
Congratulations there, Chris. A third place run, up 3 spots from where you started here tonight. Always good if you're moving forward. Just not enough to get any further up through the field and challenge those 2 leaders of Stephen Light and Drew Blaze. Was there anything you could have done differently to make your way towards the front, or you just kind of got what the car would give you tonight?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much my my strategy going in was, don't overdrive the car. I mean, this is the track's going to eat up the tires. Just get what the car would give me, and try and keep it from being snappy loose off the corners, which pretty successful with today. So I don't think there was any chance of me catching those guys. So they were really strong. I was just really happy with the top 3 here.
Certainly a solid run. Same sponsor on the car, slightly different paint scheme. I know you've had some bad luck with some of these paint schemes. Is this one starting to pan out a little bit better for you?
Well, so I mean, this is the first race with it, so I guess we'll stick with this one for Michigan. See what happens. So far so good.
Well, speaking of Michigan, of course, that is upcoming next week. What are your thoughts rolling into the Irish Hills?
Kind of the similar thing as here. I mean, I know it's a little bit bigger, a little bit more draft involved there. I'm still chewing up tires, still kind of fuel strategy there as well usually turns into it. So I like my chances of being up towards the front there as well. That's kind of my thing, is just save the car and don't overdrive it, keep the tires underneath it, and hopefully we'll be there at the end.
Well, Chris, either way, nice job here tonight. We wish you the best of luck next week at Michigan. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
First I want to thank my family here. They put up with a lot with me doing this, 3 or 4 nights a week with these leagues. So I appreciate them letting me do it and not giving me too much of a hard time about it. But thank AgentDotson.com, Eric Dotson Agency. Brain quit working for a second. But they on the car had some decent, okay runs and some pretty bad luck with it too. So we'll hopefully can change that around. Thank my guys over at Right Turn Racing. The LSR for putting these leagues on, and you guys for broadcasting. It always gives us something to go back and watch and get excited about.
I eat a lot of Oreos. My brain quits working too. It's all right.
For sure. That's where I'm headed right now.
Chris, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week at Michigan, man. Thanks for talking.
I appreciate it, guys. Take it easy.
Chris Goins, your 3rd place finisher here from Homestead-Miami Speedway. We got a word from Will Hewitt in the stream chat. It says, 2 stops for me running up top. Had to go long on runs to make it to the end. Had 1 lap left at the end. The only reason I said 3 stops for Will Hewitt is that's what iRacing is indicated here in the live timing monitor that we have. But maybe it's inaccurate. No worries. But either way, Will Hewitt, a solid top 4 finish. Good to see him back here running some races here. We always like to see Will out here running with whether it's us here at No Bull or HBR or even LSR. Doesn't matter where we see him. We like to have him a part of the action because he's always fast. It's certainly a plus. But either way, congratulations to all our top 5 finishers, really all the drivers here tonight, as we got this race in with no cautions. That is the biggest bonus of the night. Let's take a look at our official race results. Of course, Stephen Light, Drew Blaze, Chris Goins, your top 3. Will Hewitt was 4th. Jason Blaney, P5 after starting dead last. Sean Roberts was P6. Mark Collins brought it home in the 7th spot. Nick Kulikowski was 8th. Ken Couch 9th. Tommy Kohick was 10th. PJ Cox 11th. Dave Coburn was 12th. Jarrett Woodard was 13th. Jonathan Arnn 14th. Chris Klein brought it home in the 15th position. 16th went to Chris Muth Jr. 17th, Jonathan Byram. Dane Lloyd 18th. And Terry Crouch, though he did not take the green flag, was credited with the 19th position. It's your race results here from the Florida Keys 125. Again, next week, Michigan Speedway. Make sure you guys tune in for it. And if you are watching here tonight, please make sure that you tune in, you like, follow, you share, subscribe, you hit the like button on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you can't find either of them, it's very simple. Just find us at hbrtv1.com. That is the actual webpage for HBR TV. We're working on it. It is pretty rudimentary right now, just a logo and a couple of hot links. We've got that kind of in development right now, so there should be some more things there. You'll end up seeing a little bit of about us, You'll have an ability to watch the races live there on HBR TV, and also some screenshots that we typically post week to week. It'll all be there at HBRTV1.com. So, lastly, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for all in the stream chat, and thank you, Zach Millett, for jumping in the booth here tonight last minute. And congratulations to Stephen Light winning the Florida Keys 125. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.